camp, I don't even really know where to start. I guess I walked into camp this year expecting to take something from it, to get some new revelation or some exciting lesson from it. I expected to get something out of it for myself. And as I get there, my second day on mission site, because my first day didn't go at all how I had planned, and I wasn't connecting the way that I wanted to. And my second day on mission site, I realized that it wasn't about me. That it wasn't about what I could take from it, and that the more I focused on trying to figure out what I could take from it, I was taking that role from God. I wasn't allowing Him to work in my life during that week, because I was trying to work in it myself and get something out of it myself without letting God give me the revelation or the lesson. I realized that I just needed to enjoy myself and enjoy the work that I was doing. I was a part of a social track, and in the social track you kind of do behind the scenes things, and I realized that it didn't matter if I was noticed. It was just the fact that I was doing something for somebody else, and that other party was what mattered. It didn't matter what I was hoping to get out of it. It only mattered what I could give. I gave time, I gave effort, and that was the lesson behind it. I guess I kind of went in with selfish motives, but I came out with the most joyful heart. All I could give was my joy and my patience in each activity we did, whether it was painting an old church, packaging noodles at a food bank, or going to a nursing home and loving on people who were so lonely because nobody ever came and showed them that they still cared and that they were loved. I guess this week at camp, I realized that I needed to put myself aside and let God work. And the moment that I decided that I was going to stop thinking about me and what I could get out of it, God started working. I learned how to love with patience. I learned what it meant to be selfless, what it meant to love your neighbor, to really look at somebody who needed to be cared for and care for them, whether it was singing for them at the nursing home or painting their nails or whatever it was just the fact that we were there and showing that we cared. And by the end of the week, I realized that my revelation was nailed down to one word: love. Love. That's what God calls us to do. Love one another. Love God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and your body. And like unto it, love your neighbor as yourself. I learned that not only on my mission sites, but in my youth group. I realized how much I loved these kids. How much these guys are my family. I have a large family as it is, but this youth group is my family. This church is my family, and I love them. And I realized what love really meant, how to love beyond selfishness. And that was probably the most exciting part of camp.
Camp for me is always an awesome experience. Like, I don't know, it's just, you get to grow in unity with your group, and you get to, dig deeper into the Word and just talk to God. And it's just awesome for me to be kind of isolated with people who are striving for the same things that you are, and just after the same thing. It's so much easier to do what we're supposed to do and be who we're supposed to be when there are other people around you with the same goal. for me, our church group devotions in the evenings were the most meaningful. Bible study was good, but there wasn't a whole lot that I didn't already know or that we really dug into. It was almost a little juvenile, it seemed. But for church group, to be able to just have our whole family together, because that's what we are. We're a family. And I even think one of the counselors told Charles that. He was like, you guys just have a family. So to have our whole family together, it was just really awesome for me. Especially, one of the later nights we got to talk about how we had seen some of the newer and younger kids grow. And it was just awesome to see some of my friends and my little brother and just how God worked in their lives and just completely changed their perspective on things. And that's just awesome for me to see God working, because I know that He's there and I know that He's working. But when you see it and you feel it, it just makes it so much more real than just a fact that you know. It's in your heart, it's in the emotion, it's in the way people talk to you, it's in the passion in their voice. And for me, that's just awesome to hear. One of the things I really learned and dug into was the fact that during creation and during the beginning, it wasn't just God the Father, which is at least how I tend to think of it. It was the Spirit and the Son. Jesus was there during creation, which I had never thought of before. I had always realized, okay, yeah, the Spirit and the Father, okay, I can see that. But the Son being there too, I never realized that. And we use the verse Genesis 1:26, and it says, let us make them in our image to be like us. God is saying, let's make human beings in our image, not just my image, which is how we say it. He says, let me make them in my image, to be like me. And we say, you're made in His image, you're made like Him, but we're not, we're made in their image. And that was awesome for me to just kind of realize that the Trinity is a Trinity always. It's not just sometimes, or it's not just on the cross or after Jesus was born. It was in the beginning. Jesus was there from the very beginning till the very end, and forever. He's always there. And for me, I never thought of it like that. It was just really awesome for me also. The very first night, there were some crazy things going on, and so rooms got switched up for the girls, and who we were supposed to be rooming with changed a little bit for some of us, and I got moved into a room with a couple of girls in my small group. And one of them had been pulled aside and told that they had made another person feel a little left out. And they didn't realize that that's what was happening. But this girl that had been doing the leaving out felt as if she was the only one being called out. Felt as if no one else had been a part of anything and she was the only one being pulled aside, when other people were there and other people were trying or not trying to do anything about the situation. And I told her, she wasn't the only one. And in, the van that we were in, there were other people who were feeling left out too. And there was just a lot going on that she didn't realize. And she just assumed right off the bat, I'm the only one that I realize that's getting called out. So I must be the only one, and I'm being pulled aside and ostracized. And she didn't like it. And I told her, I was like, you're not the only one. And then I realized the theme of our camp was the big picture. And God was showing us within the first 6, 7, 8 hours, maybe not even that long, maybe 10 or 12, I don't know. But within the first evening that we didn't see the big picture. We just see the snapshot of now. And He sees the big picture. And that was the whole purpose that we were there, was to show us that I'm God and you're not, and I know all, and I see the big picture, and you need to trust in me, and you need to lean on me and not yourself. So for me, camp it really opened my eyes to a lot of things, and it helped me dig into the Word a little bit. And I just thank you all for helping us to get there. I love you.
At camp, pretty much God took me apart piece by piece and put me back together the way He wanted me to be. One night specific, we were worshiping and I was crying out to God. I needed His help. So later that night in Bible study, we had prayer time, and I was again crying out to God. I needed His help. I wanted to change before camp was over, but I thought it was too late because there was only 2 days left. When I was leaving Bible study, after emotional, it was really emotional. When I was leaving after Bible study, Charles stopped me and said, "So do you know what's going on?" I told him I had no idea what was going on. And he said, "I've been praying for you for about a month before camp, and I think God answered my prayer." So pretty much what I got out of that is, for the last two, pretty much what I got out of that is, God worked through me and got me out of the rough times I was having.